Hey Professor, how's it going? Uh, I really did it this time. I missed our final project review session on Tuesday, so I'm really sorry about that. You know, it's not an excuse, but I had spent the past 2 days, Sunday and Monday night. I didn't go to bed, working on these projects, and I think Tuesday at 11 o'clock, and I told myself I'd take a quick nap, which is when I finished my final project. And I ended up sleeping through my alarms, and I slept for 6 hours. By the time I got to Walsh, I was told that you were already gone. So there's nothing I can do, and there's no way I can turn back time. So this is kind of my video to you, to show you and talk about some of my projects and how I went about approaching each one of them. Um, while I can apologize profusely about not showing up. I can only ask you to forgive me and enjoy my projects as they are. Thank you so much for an awesome semester. I was really hoping not to have gone out like this, but I guess it happened, as such, and it is what it is, unfortunately. So yeah, if you need anything else, please let me know. I'm going to be attaching uh, external files for all of my projects, along with, in this video, talking about how I approached each one of them. And I will come to the art studio on the 14th, when you have your next final project review, and we can talk about anything or any questions that you might have about my projects. Thank you so much again for an awesome semester, and I hope you enjoy this video. So for my first project, I did the Flipbook. This is kind of a tribute to David Bowie, even though I did it before he was dead. Major Tom lands in his rocket ship. The moon wakes up, grabs him, eats him, and his circuit is now dead. So for the stop motion video, super simple. We did zoom in out in the beginning to show dishevelment. The pens run across the stage, we do a little dance, and then we take up from Pink Floyd's Comfortably Numb, with an emphasis on hell-o, kind of saying, how whenever we're working on midterms, it seems like these numbers seem so arbitrary, and there's nothing that can really help us from not taking the midterm. So for the Cutpaper animation, which was one of my favorites, I pixel animated this character, and I printed out this background 2 or 3 times, and cut the actual pieces of the room and pasted it over so that there's more of a shadow when the light comes off and I take the picture, and it looks 3D. And so initially the character was supposed to have a dog, and we're supposed to meet in the park and whatnot, but instead I decided to do this where he thinks it's Friday, he wakes up, the character runs to the calendar, kind of getting ready, and he realizes it's actually Wednesday, not Friday. So to his surprise, of course, and then we use the sound bits from The Office, Family Guy, and a meme that is online to kind of show his frustration and cycle through a bunch of emotions that I thought, would kind of showcase exactly what cut paper can do, I guess. So for the claymation, I decided to kind of create a Pokemon-esque battle thing. So this is the king. As you can see, the fire is constantly moving. He's challenging these two guys to fight, and so I used a little bit of Mortal Kombat audio to kind of show them in action. And so this guy, punctures him through the back, rips off his head. The king, throughout the entire time, you can see him reacting to some of the moves that they're doing. He's afraid. He runs to the back of the chair, and now as the guy drops the head, he's reaching for his nuts, but then he's crushed instead. So for the animator, I thought this was really cool. How you can, control the eyebrows, the eye movement, the hand movement, blinking, mouth, everything. Pretty self-explanatory, and we talked about it in class. But we see Frida over here talking, basically vocalizing "Hello" by Adele, putting it into context of her, talking to some lover that she wishes would call her again. Yeah, I mean, this is a really fun activity, and I think if we had a lot more time, I would have enjoyed, uh, kind of animating it to a full extent in regards to, having joints and whatnot. So just for the purpose of this video, I kind of slowed down the rotoscope just so I can talk during it. I wish I knew that we didn't have to do everyone's feet because I started with Hannah's, but pretty self-explanatory. I used darker blue for her pants, lighter blue for the cups and the hole in her pants, and then brown and gray for her shoes. Well, I don't really have much to say about the Sink or Swim trailer besides the fact that I thought it was a pretty good uh, break in terms of in between Cutpaper, stop motion and whatnot. It was fun getting to create something silly like this. So yeah, we have clips from Tokyo Drift, Too Fast, Too Furious, and I instilled it in the same kind of theme. I did think I was going to run out of video footage, so I put in two shots from Tokyo Drift itself. Yeah, so it was pretty fun, being able to go to the DC Auto Show and not having to pay to get in, whatever. Um, but I think overall project, this really helped with our ability to uh, put together everyone's views into one cohesive idea at the end. Now, the final project is probably one of the only videos you probably haven't seen from me. So during the semester, I took a Buddhism and film class, which isn't necessarily about discovering Buddhist films, but rather the Buddhist nature in an assortment of films themselves. Now, film Buddhist in nature can range from obvious plot structures to imagery, and most rare can serve as a guided meditation. And as you can see, I mixed time-lapse photos of the Georgetown area with snippets of students who are studying for finals in Lao. In Buddhism, there is this idea of interconnectedness and inevitability. The only thing that is true in life, and let me emphasize that this isn't to be seen as a pessimistic view, is that there's birth, getting old, getting sick, and then dying. Now, Buddhists believe that when discussing time, while there may be a past, present, and future, the linear timeline of things is just an illusion created by us as a means of coping with an idea that we do not yet understand. Now, my decision to mix the time lapse and the 3 clips of students per break was very purposeful in that I wanted to emphasize and demonstrate that even as these students sat in Lao, the world continued to revolve around them and that everything was truly going to be alright. Now, beyond the actual content, I chose to direct this into Buddhist nature as a means of creating a guided meditation for students trying to finish finals. Now, I asked strangers who seemed to be the most disheveled to take a 2-minute break with me, talk to me about their final, and then directed them to reassure other students that they too will get through it. And in Buddhism, mantras are usually repeated 3 times to represent transcendence beyond past, present, and future. And in the same fashion, I had intervals of 3 students repeat to the viewer that everything will ultimately be alright, in hopes of trying to get the audience to repeat it to themselves as the sun goes down, to become aware that while finals may seem like the most important thing in the present, there exists another day and more big picture things to worry about as the sun comes up again the next day. Now, I really chose to focus on the sunset itself because I wanted to show that, sure, at the beginning of the day, everything might seem like chaos and whatnot, but, you know, just like every suffering is temporary, the day will go on and you will be okay. Now, I thank you so much for your great semester, and I hope you enjoyed my project. If you have any more questions or anything else that you need, just let me know, and I will definitely get back to you. Thank you so much, Professor.